Are you ready to take your message, your business, and your life to the next level?
Want to learn from someone with more than a decade of experience, training tens of thousands of people from all around the world?
Hi, Cliff. This is Pauline from Auckland, New Zealand.
John from Calgary, Alberta.
Amy Porterfield.
Michael Hyatt.
Dan here from Dunedin, New Zealand.
Ray Edwards.
Mark Mason. Mike Stelzner.
Pat from Smart Passive Income.
It's Darren from Melbourne, Australia.
Now is the time to live the life of your dreams and do the work you feel most called to do in the world.
Welcome to the Cliff Ravenscraft Show.
Here's your host, Cliff Ravenscraft.
That's right, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show. I can't believe it. 2 weeks until Free the Dream. It's only 14 days away. And you would think that this is actually consuming my every waking thought, every moment of the day at this point. And it's almost the case, except for the fact that, well, a couple things have happened recently. One thing that I don't know that if I mentioned it last week, but at the same time that I was marketing Free the Dream, I was working on planning a birthday party for my wife's 40th birthday. It was a surprise party. I can't remember if I told you guys that last week or not. Then the following Friday, which was last Friday, Stephanie and I celebrated our 22nd wedding anniversary. We had an incredible day together. It was awesome. And then the following Monday, or this past Monday, my wife and I spent the entire day moving our oldest daughter, Megan, to Western Kentucky University, getting her moved into her dorm. And I was warned, and even though I was warned, I was not fully prepared for just how much of an emotional event it would be to leave my daughter in Bowling Green, Kentucky. When I gave her a hug, you could tell tears were running down her eyes. When she gave my wife a hug, she burst into tears, which makes me want to burst into tears as well. I gotta tell you, it was tough. You know, she's 18 years old, and wow, I wasn't expecting to get emotional just telling you about it, but just that very moment in time and seeing just that shift right there in a single moment in time where this is it. This is the moment that she is now, quote unquote, technically beginning a season of her life where she's out on her own, where coming home that night, it was tough to see her empty bedroom. And anybody out there who is a father who has had an oldest child leave the house, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those of you who have not yet experienced this, oh my gosh, it is a big, huge deal. And it didn't hit me until, I held it together while I was there. I held it together all the way home. But after we got home, Stephanie's sleeping. I bawled like a little baby all night long. And on Tuesday, I didn't do anything. I just laid back and just chilled that day. And I worked on my emotional state. Just like, what does this mean? Where are these emotions coming from? And reframing in my mind all of the thoughts that were going through my head. You know, how have I done as a father? How have I prepared her for this world? And things like that. And one thing I can tell you, and this is something that I'll be talking about at Free the Dream. Hopefully, I won't bring up my daughter going to college. She'll be in the audience there, as will all of my children at Free the Dream, because I don't want to cry from this stage. But one of the things that I will be sharing at Free the Dream is this idea of controlling your emotional state, and also being aware of what we believe about certain situations. What does this mean? What, like this emotion that I felt, is this emotion? I could allow myself to dwell on all kinds of questions, such as, oh my gosh, let me think about all the ways that I have failed to be an example to my daughter. I could think about all of those things, right? Or I could choose to say, hey, in spite of all of my shortcomings as a father, which there are many, in what ways have I demonstrated what it takes to succeed in life? And I have so many of those. And so I could choose to focus in that time on, oh my gosh, remember when I screwed this up? Remember when I did this? Remember when I failed to do that? Remember all the times I had opportunities to spend with her and I chose not to because I was doing my own thing and all this other. I could focus on that. And trust me, if I would have remained focused on that, I probably would not be out of that emotional state that I was in on Tuesday. I wouldn't be here recording today. I wouldn't have actually accomplished anything this week at all, which might be understandable for some people, But for me, what I did is I'm like, okay, there's no doubt that I could focus and go down that path. But first of all, going through and replaying all of my mistakes, all of my failures, all of my regrets, what is that really going to do for me? Nothing. What is that going to do for my daughter? Nothing. All right. Now, what about if I focus instead on what have I demonstrated to my daughter? So I started asking myself a different question. What am I proud of in my daughter and how she's learned from me in my experience? I'm proud of so many different things. And I got to find a way to turn off my phone's thing. My family is doing a group chat right now, and they are group chatting each other like crazy. My phone's vibrating over here, distracting me. I apologize. All right. So anyway, the thing is that just to say that you would think that Free the Dream's the only thing on my mind. Birthday parties, anniversaries, and then dropping my daughter off at college and stuff like that. And I just want to wrap up this whole daughter going away to college thing to say that what normally would have taken me about 3 to 5 days of borderline depression, if you would call it, just being absolutely emotionally wrecked by this, I will tell you that it lasted about a day. And even though I broke down at the beginning of this episode, I'm actually able to snap out of those kind of things much faster than I ever had in the past. And since then, as a result of that, I've actually had the most amazing FaceTime conversations on a daily basis with my daughter. I've had amazing text message conversations with her. And some really exciting things are happening. I'll just tell you one story real quick that is super exciting. So she's down there at college. She's actually went down a week before school started because we signed her up for this orientation week where they teach her all about how college works, right? And so she went down a week early, and her dorm has lots of girls who are also there. And she said, Dad, do you have time for a FaceTime? And I'm like, I said, sure. And so she FaceTimes me, and she's super excited. She is, oh my gosh, you've got to hear this story. So I went to this meeting, and I met these two girls who live about 4 doors down from me in my dorm. They're on my same floor, but they live 4 doors down from me. And I said, yeah. She goes, and we just got to introducing each other, and I really liked them, and I really feel like they like me. And we were just really hitting it off. And she said, and then all of a sudden we started talking about our families, and I asked what her dad did, and then they asked what my dad did, and so I told him what you do, and she goes, I don't know if you'll like what I told him, but it was like he teaches people how to do podcasts and businesses and online business, and he wants to do events and do things like Tony Robbins. I probably didn't represent it well, Dad, but that's what I told him. And they said, in fact, my dad's hosting his first conference in Franklin, Tennessee in a couple weeks. And her friend Grace said, no way. My dad is attending a conference in a couple weeks in Franklin, Tennessee. And she goes, what's your dad's name? And she said, Cliff. And before, now I guess Megan only shared her first name at this point. But she said, my dad's name is Cliff and as soon as she got to Raven, her friend Grace cut her. She goes, Cliff Ravenscraft? And she goes, yeah. She goes, oh my gosh, my dad talks about him. He's like really big in the podcasting space. Or at least it's either Grace said that or it may have actually I could be messing this story up. It could be that they were there and Grace called her dad on the spot to see if my conference was the one. And I think that's actually, okay, so here's the story. The actual story is that they were all together. Grace on the spot calls her dad, Scott Harvey, by the way, and Scott is on the phone, and she says, "What conference are you going to?" And I think he was planning to go to the Tribe conference with Jeff Goins, and so and he said, he goes, "Oh, I just wondering because I just met this girl Megan and her dad," and she goes, "Really? What's her dad's name?" And that's when it was Cliff Ravens, and they didn't get the full name out. And he goes, "Oh, Cliff Ravenscraft. Yeah, I know of him. He's really huge in the podcasting space." That's what her dad said. Anyway, so she continues to tell me the story, and she said they really hit it off, and her dad's a huge fan of what I do and stuff like that. And so we just had this great FaceTime conversation, and she goes, "I really like her, Dad." And it's like, wouldn't it be cool if she came to Free the Dream conference with me? And I reached out to Scott on Facebook and sent him a friend request, and he's like, "Hey, isn't it cool that our daughters kind of brought us together and how that's, funny?" And of course, it was his first time having a daughter go away. He's asking how I'm dealing with it. I'm asking how he's dealing with it, and we're going back and forth. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, so I hear you're getting ready. You're going down to a conference in Franklin, Tennessee. Is that the Tribe conference?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "Are you going?" And I said, "Well, I'll probably be there. I haven't quite fully made up my mind." Talked about that last week yet. I still haven't purchased the ticket yet. But anyway, I said, I'm not fully sure because I'm hosting my own event and I'm trying to just wait and see what all is going to happen after that and to see how I feel about, traveling and stuff like that. But I said, I do know that, that you kind of are in this space. If you're interested, I'd love to offer you a special discount for you and your family to come because I know that Megan really hit it off with Grace and she would love to have this opportunity to have Grace and yourself and your family come to Free the Dream. And so I offered him a special discount for a VIP ticket for his whole family. And he wrote back and he says, "Hey, my wife, she can't get off, to do that much travel. And his youngest daughter, didn't seem all that interested in going to another conference. But he says, I would love to take you up on your offer for myself and Grace." And it's like, awesome. And so he instantly went in and purchased VIP tickets to Free the Dream for himself and his daughter, Grace. And now my daughter is going to get to hang out and spend that weekend together, and just you never know. I don't even know what the point of telling you all that story was, except for the fact that, life is more than just our businesses, and I think that's the point of what I wanted to share in this first 14 minutes of this episode. Now, is that you would think that the only thing that's on my mind is the Free the Dream conference, and it's not. Guys, by the way, it is a seemingly all-consuming thing to be 2 weeks away from Free the Dream conference. But I got to tell you, I'm like, listen, there's no way, shape, or form that the planning of this event, that any of the the growing list of things that quote unquote need to be done, that have to be done. There's none of that that's ever going to that's going to keep me from working out on a daily basis. And I've still been maintaining a minimum of 1 hour a day, sometimes doing as much as 3 hours of working out per day. And by the way, that's just me. I love it. Come to Free the Dream and you'll hear why. So it's not like I'm trying to kill myself to meet some kind of aggressive goal. It's just what I do because of what I love and stuff like that. I don't do 3 hours every day. I don't do 2 hours every day, but I do about 10 hours a week right now is what I'm averaging. And there are times when I might go to 15. So my physical fitness is still always my priority. Spending time with my wife, being there for my daughter, and even more, and even now that Megan's away at college, just even being more available to her. Instead of seeing the opportunities that I've missed in the past, I am now looking forward to the new opportunities I have going forward. And it's not to say that I missed all opportunities in the past. I was actually thinking about this the other day on Tuesday, that day that I just sat there all day long just thinking about my daughter no longer living under our roof. Sure, she'll come home and stay during winter break and during the summer and stuff like that. But come on, technically she doesn't, yeah, you get the idea. But anyway, when I was contemplating all this, I did start out thinking, it's like, man, all these times. And then I got to think, it's like, wait a second. You know what? I've been vilifying myself from the early days of my business. For me, I felt like it seems like every time I tell the story of the early days of my business, it's like I've neglected my oldest daughter. And I'm not saying that I never missed any key moments, because I did, and I missed a few, but they were very few and far between. It's just that I had such a high standard of expectation of what I wanted as a father to be there for my daughter, that when I fell even slightly short of it, I felt like it was a miserable failure. And see, all of those thoughts that kind of got programmed into my story, because that was my mindset back when I was creating the story. What I realized now that I actually have this different way of processing what I believe, who I am, where thoughts come from, where these emotions get attached to thoughts, and actually reevaluating, do I really believe that? And what I realize is that, oh my gosh, I was actually a much better father than I ever thought of. This is crazy. And so much of that was in my own head. And in fact, it's like I think about all the times that I've told the story, and how my greatest regret was just how much I seemingly felt like I neglected some of the most important key moments in my oldest daughter's life, when in reality, I may have missed one or two key moments, but I've been there. I've been self-employed, full-time self-employed. I've always went on field trips whenever asked. I've always went and did this. I always went and did that. Wow. It's like, this is actually pretty wild to think about the things that I'm teaching at Free the Dream Conference, and reevaluating in light of the way that I process and associate what circumstances mean. I would retell that story from a different perspective today. None of the details of the story would change, but the perspective of how that story is told would change. And see, I think you could take a story and take a main character such as a dad, and you can focus on certain details of the story and make that dad to be a villain, if you will. And I feel like that's what I've done with my past. And you can actually take the same story, tell it from a different perspective, and focus on different things, and you can make that character, that dad, a hero. And let me just say this, I not to say that I'm a hero and that I'm the ideal father, but wow, I've really given myself I've really short sold myself as a father, I believe, in my own mind. If not to you guys, my community over the years, if I've not short sold myself and my effectiveness of being a great father to you guys, I certainly have short sold my. I don't even know if that's. I have failed to communicate to myself an adequate story of my fatherhood over the years. And that's what I processed on Tuesday. And I came away from it feeling amazing. I came away from that reinvigorated, re-energized, and feeling amazing. And I was able to, by Wednesday morning, bounce right back into all of the things that needed to be done for Free the Dream. And actually, Wednesday was workout, Next Level Mastermind AM group, Green Room Mastermind, lunch with Stephanie, which we planned we outlined Stephanie's talk with even greater detail during our lunch together. We spent the rest of the afternoon together. I took a 2.5 hour nap, and then I had my evening session of the Next Level Mastermind on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, yesterday, I was all day, started out a couple hours of working out, and then I came back and worked on Free the Dream content. I have slides all built out for 3 full sessions, completely have slides, at least a first draft of slides right now. And I have, I think it's 6 or 7 other talks, potentially built as far as the overview of them. And of course, I don't have that many sessions available for me to speak. So some decisions will need to still be made over the next 2 weeks of which exact sessions I will be teaching from those other options that I have available. So that's what I've been working on. Not necessarily focused as heavily on marketing at this point. I love all of the advice and the wisdom that I've received from all of my friends. I think I may have mentioned this last week, but quite frankly, there are things that I learned in the last 5 weeks that if I would have known them 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, there's no doubt in my mind we'd already have 300 people registered for the Free the Dream conference. That is not the case. Right now, realistically, and here's the thing. I've had some friends that have told me, 70% of your ticket sales are going to come within the final 2 weeks of the conference. If that's the case, maybe 150 people. I don't want to undersell my expectations or anything like that, but if I had to guess, we're looking at right around 100 attendees for this first event. And of course, you have to ask yourself, or I have to ask myself, what does this mean? Does this mean that I have failed? I talked about that last week, right? No, it doesn't. Gosh, look at what I've learned. In all of the things that I've done, look at what seeds have been planted in my own heart, in my own mind for the planning and the marketing of this event next year. And at this point right now, I could still focus these remaining 2 weeks all on marketing, and I could force myself to get to 300 people at this event. There are things that I know for a fact that I could do with 2 weeks of time. But what I have instead decided to do is I am going to do what naturally needs to be done for people. Because here's the deal. I know there are about 20 or 30 of you who are hearing my voice right now. It's on your calendar. You've been to the sales page many times, and you're likely to come. It just needs to be top of mind for you. Maybe it's this episode, this one right here, that finally sends you over to freethedream.live to reserve your seat. This might be the episode. It might be the email that I send out next week. I don't know that I'm actually going to send an email every single day for the next 2 weeks. I know that some of my marketing friends say that that's what I should do, but it depends on how much how solidified my talks are for Free the Dream. So the more I get done this weekend, the more I will have time to create more creative marketing emails. I just don't want to send emails that say, "Hey, today's yet another day. It's now 12 days away. Don't forget to go get your ticket." I don't want to send those kind of emails. So anyway, I'm working on all of that, but really right now, solidifying my talks. I want to make sure that I'm practiced, rehearsed, ready to go. And in fact, tonight I actually have scheduled 3 hours of practice for 3 of my talks at Free the Dream. So I have my opening keynote is 1 hour. I have I think I have 3 different sessions that are scheduled for 1 hour, and I have 4 sessions that are 45 minutes apiece. So tonight, my goal is to run through my opening keynote and 2 of my 45-minute sessions. And I want to actually just run through and just share the slides that I have, just speak off the top of my head what comes to me based upon the outline and the slides that I've created. I'm communicating all this, by the way, to the live audience. These are called my practice sessions. The practice sessions is actually a benefit for anybody who has already purchased a ticket to Free the Dream. If you're coming physically to this event, not only are you attending live, but you also automatically get access to the virtual ticket, which includes access to the practice sessions. By the way, there is a virtual ticket only option on the Free the Dream sales page. It's hidden all the way at the very bottom. So if you know for a fact you're not coming to Free the Dream, but you would like access to these practice sessions and also the recordings of every session from the event, when they're available, that'll probably be about 3 weeks after Free the Dream, I will have the virtual ticket on-demand playback of all of the sessions. And if you want, you can buy a virtual ticket only if you go to freethedream.live and scroll all the way to the very bottom of the page. There's a question that says, "What if I can't attend?" And it has access for the virtual ticket only. Anyway, so anybody who either has a ticket to attend live or anybody who's purchased only the virtual ticket, those people got an email this morning saying, "Hey, tonight, sorry about the last minute notice, but I would love to have some live participants joining me for some practice sessions." So in fact, I'm looking right here and I can tell you already, let's see here, Mark Cundiff, Crystal Foth, Frank Lipsky, and Rick Copeland are all going to be joining me this evening. And if I had to guess, probably about a total, that's 4. So I would imagine that there'll be about 10 or 15 people who will join me in it because of its last minute notice. But for 3 hours tonight, I'm going to be on GoToWebinar with them. And they're going to be a live audience where I'm going to go through for the very first time teaching these sessions based upon the outline and the notes that I have. So that's what I'm doing this evening. And then I'll take the recordings of those practice sessions and I upload them into my Kajabi account. So anybody who didn't get a chance to come at the last minute will be able to watch those practice sessions if they choose to do so. The practice sessions, by the way, are mostly for me to work on my timing. I want to see, it's like, man, like, for example, I have a brand new version of how to achieve any goal. And I think it's now 10 steps. So it used to be a 5 steps to how to achieve any goal. And I actually created a brand new presentation. And I'm going to go in here. And if you want, I'll even tell you what the steps are. But you will have to come to the event or watch the practice session or the virtual ticket to actually hear me teach about each of these sessions. So let me go up here real quickly. Where is steps to achieve any goal? Step number 1, you need to know what you want. Let's see here. Step number 2, know why you want it. Step 3, believe it is possible. Step 4, decide right now that you must achieve this goal. Step 5, write it down. Let's see here. I'm going all the way down. Oh, was that step 5? Was step 5 write it down? Yes, step 5 was write it down. Okay, so we're on step 6. Place your goals where you can see them. And I've got some great illustrations for all of this stuff and reasoning behind all of these steps. Step number 7, tell others. And step number 8, take massive action now. Step number 9, evaluate your results. And step 10, change your approach if needed. So a 10-step process for achieving any goal. Whatever your dream is, this is how you achieve it. You go through these 10 steps, but you can't skip any of them. That's the problem. And you must follow through with each of them. And by the way, if you go back and just replay that, you may actually hear those steps and you think, I have a really good grasp on what Cliff's talking about there. But I promise you, there are distinctions about each and every one of those steps there's some information and some supporting resources that are going to go with each of those steps that are quite literally going to create major breakthroughs in the mindsets of people who felt like they had a good grasp on how to achieve their goals in the past. But admittedly, they will tell you that they rarely actually achieve their goals in life. Maybe it happens every now and then, but not consistently. And one thing I can tell you is that I'm okay with saying this. I have an excellent track record of achieving goals. And I can attribute it to the distinctions that I'm going to share in this talk alone. The thing is can I share those 10 steps with all of the resources and all the stories and all the examples and can I do all that in 45 minutes? That's why I'm doing a practice session tonight to find out. Or do I need to put that into one of my 1-hour slots? Or do I need to break it into how to achieve any goal, part 1 and part 2? This is why I'm doing the practice sessions. There are some other benefits to the practice sessions, by the way. And the other benefit is for those who are joining live. Number 1, they get a behind-the-scenes look, or if you want to buy a virtual ticket or a physical ticket to the event, you can have access to all of this and get this benefit. But if you want a behind-the-scenes look of what it looks like to go from just a rough general outline, I created an outline for the talk. I created a bunch of slides to direct me, and I'm going to just practice it right here in front of you. This is the first time I'm speaking all of this stuff out loud. If you'd like to see what it takes to go from concept to your first rough draft practice session, then to see how that actually transforms from what this practice session looked like and how that went to what it actually turned out being presented on the stage. Anybody who has access to the virtual ticket, which of course virtual ticket only holders have, and anybody who is attending the event has the access to the virtual ticket and these practice sessions as well. Another benefit is that you don't have to wait until Free the Dream to start experiencing massive mental breakthroughs, mindset breakthroughs. You don't have to wait for your life to be impacted in an incredibly radical and profound way. You will actually get to learn many of these techniques and strategies for the first time through the practice sessions. In fact, if you let me just go to freethedream.live real quickly. I love what Phil Zito said. Let me see here. Phil said, the practice sessions have already paid for the price of the VIP ticket. Actually, they paid for the price of 8 VIP tickets. But who's counting? He says, here's how they've paid. Number 1, they've challenged me to adjust my rates. The Q&A call where you questioned the lady about how many people challenged her rate and ended up being 1% made me really evaluate how many people challenged my rate, which is actually quite low. And it made me realize that people had been subtly telling me to raise my rates. Once my antenna was tuned to receive that information, I started to see how folks were pointing out that my competitors charged $2,000 to $3,000 for impersonal technical training that most students forgot by the time that they left, and here I was only charging $1,200. Number 2, it boosted my self-confidence. I noticed that my internal and external language changed. I used to say, I charge $300 per hour, and here's why. Today, as the result of what I learned from your practice session, I now say I charge $500 an hour. When should we start? That mental shift, while imperceptible at first, helped me to talk with confidence. I now realize that people can pick up on the lack of confidence in our voice and our written words. This has helped so much. Number 3, it exposed me to other areas I still need to improve. I identified areas where I have overcommitted myself. I will drastically increase the margin in my life once my current commitments have been fulfilled. I also realized that I was giving away too many things at no or low cost. I was telling myself I was doing this to be a giver and to quote unquote give value before asking. But I started to reflect based upon your prompting. I realized that it was just a facade for covering up my own lack of confidence. He says, I would highly recommend anyone who is building a business attend your conference, if only for the practice sessions alone. Thanks again for putting it together. I would have paid several thousands of dollars for it. That's Phil Zito, by the way. He's the owner of Building Automation Monthly. And Phil, I can't wait to see you at the Free the Dream conference. It's going to be so awesome. Anyway, so yeah, those are some of the benefits of me actually getting to practice in front of this audience, that people's lives are radically being transformed as a result of just hearing the practice talks. And also, for those of you who will attend either the practice sessions live, which I realize that's going to be a very small percentage of people, but those of you who watch the replay of the practice sessions, and then if you attend the event live, or if you watch the replay of each of the sessions that were delivered live, I already told you get to see the transition, the change between practicing and delivering, and how important, if nothing else, you'll see just how essential it is that you practice your talks. But also, repetition is the mother of skill. So you may hear it and it's presented to you once, and you think, oh, wow, that's profound. I've got that. I wrote notes. But here's the interesting thing. You go through the same exact information, presented nearly exactly the same way, with a lot of the same illustrations, but you walk away from it the second time having brand new, mind-altering breakthroughs that you didn't get the first time, because you were so focused on what you were thinking about in that major, huge light bulb moment that in your own mind, you missed something else that I had said right afterwards. This is why when I'm going through like Tony Robbins audio training materials, I've gone through Personal Power 2. I think I just completed like my 9th time through that 30-day program. I have gone through Creating Lasting Change at least 10 times now, and the audio version of Unleash the Power Within, which is a 10-day program or a 10-session program. I think I've gone through that, I think at least 5 or 6 times now, which, by the way, that's the newest one that I own. So you get lots of benefits. Anyway, so that's what's been on my mind. lots of stuff related to Free the Dream. You know, I'll kind of close things out with this, because I know that some of you are still thinking about Free the Dream, and it's not too late for you to sign up. It may be too late for you to get a VIP ticket, which is not a problem. You just get yourself a standard ticket and get there. I promise you, the return on your investment, 10x does not even do justice to whatever you will pay to attend this event. So if you wait until the price for the standard ticket is $9.99, I promise you what you will learn will what is, so that's $1,000. Will you make more than $10,000 as a result of what you learn over the next 12 months? I believe so. I really do. And that's if you're an employee and have no desire to start your own business. Will it save you $10,000 in medical bills because you've learned to master your physical body? Will it? I mean, there are people I know that just as a result of, let's just say, 3 one-hour mentoring sessions, I know people who are making $120,000 additional per year as a result of just 3 one-hour calls. And by the way, what they got from me in those 3-hour calls are just 3 of the sessions that I'll be teaching at Free the Dream. So and this is, guys, I wish I could communicate succinctly why people who are coming to Free the Dream are coming. And because I thought about that, one of the things that I've done for the people who have signed up for a ticket for Free the Dream, I sent them a questionnaire. And I want to share with you the questions that I asked each attendee who's coming to Free the Dream. So here's the first one. Number one, where are you coming from? Where are you traveling from? And yes, we do have Freya Casey coming all the way from Germany. Lingen Sai is actually coming all the way from Paris, France. And then everywhere in the United States and Canada, it's just an incredible number of people who are coming from all over. All right, so where are you traveling from? I also asked this question, why did you decide to purchase your ticket to Free the Dream? And I asked them to be as detailed as possible. And I'm going to share with you some responses in just a moment. I also asked them, what does an extraordinary life look like for you at the next level? And in parentheses, I put, AKA, what is your dream? What does an extraordinary life look like for you at the next level? And then the next question after that, to achieve your dream, what would you need to let go of and or start doing? And then the next question is, what has prevented you in the past from doing what it takes to make your dream a reality? And then, of course, I've asked them to tell me which of the following statements applies most to them. And of course, it's a question. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 different options. There's, I don't have my own business and I don't have a desire to create one. I don't have my own business, but I'd like to create one, but I don't know what business to start. I have a day job I'm happy with. I have no plans to leave. However, I also have a side business I use to generate extra income. I have a day job. However, I started a side business that I'm working to build the income level to where that will allow me to leave it. I'm full-time self-employed, but not yet generating the desired minimum amount of income from my business. I'm full-time self-employed, making ends meet, but need more financial margin in my life. And I'm full-time self-employed, doing very well financially, just working towards what is next on this amazing journey. So I asked people, click one of those statements. And so it just gives me an idea of who has responded the most to this call. And a majority of the people, over half of the people, are full-time self-employed, anywhere between not generating their desired amount of minimum income to doing extremely well financially, but I'm just wanting to work towards what's next in life. I'm called the bigger thing. So I'd say I think it was like 60% are full-time self-employed. The other ones are, I have the day job, and a majority of them have a day job that either they want to start a side business, they have no idea what to start, or they have a day job, they have a side business that they've started, but they're just working to grow it so that they can actually leave the day job. I think only one person said that I have a business, I have a day job, and I don't have plans to leave my business. I just want to build some side income. But I did have one person that marked that. So if you come, you won't be the only one. All right. And then the final question is, are you aware of any behaviors or beliefs that stand in the way from you achieving professional success and having the life you really love? So I asked all of those questions for all of the folks who are coming to Free the Dream. And the reason I asked those questions is because I want to make sure that as I am outlining these talks, as I am preparing what stories I'm going to share, I want to make sure that I custom tailor these talks to serve the needs of those who are attending this event live. So if you sign up for Free the Dream, you will be asked to complete that questionnaire. Now, I figure I've got just about 15 minutes left before we wrap up here, and I wonder if I can share with you 20 reasons why people are attending Free the Dream. So I told you one of the first questions after, where are you traveling from is, why did you decide to purchase your ticket to Free the Dream? And I chose to pull up randomly 20 of the responses that have come in. And I want to see if any of these resonate with you. By the way, I just turned this into a marketing email on my list, but I thought I'd be interested to if you kind of heard some of these reasons why some other people are attending, maybe you might resonate with some of them, and it might cause you to finally get off the fence and go grab your ticket. So here's reason number 1. Somebody said, I met you at the Tribe conference last year, and you told me about this yet to be named conference you would do this year, and I was inspired to sign up right then. I have since attended your Next Level workshop, which further confirmed my resolve to attend. And I listened to your podcast, and I want more of what you have to offer. So that was reason number one. So my question is do you want more of what I have to offer? If so, go to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. All right. Reason number two, the people that will be attending and speaking at your event align perfectly with my goals and desires. I love live events. So that's reason number two. So my question for you is, do you want to spend 2.5 days with people who are perfectly aligned with your goals and your dreams? If so, go to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. All right. Reason number three. I felt like I was living in a stuck place, a place between comfort and getting by with what I'd always done, yet not enjoying it. There are 3 or 4 major things in my life that would require big changes in my life and provide massive breakthroughs, yet I feel that I didn't know how to get there. Then I heard Cliff on the Ray Edwards show, and I knew immediately that I needed to attend this conference. So my question to you, are you living in a stuck place? Are you just getting by with a life that is comfortable, but you're not really enjoying it? If so, head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. All right, reason number 4. This person says, I began listening to your podcast because of Ray Edwards mentioning you on his podcast, and Sarah Anna Powers talking about you specifically in regards to a money mindset. I listened to that podcast episode and I was hooked. I shared it with my husband, who has been listening to podcasts, and he is now a huge fan. We both feel as if we're on the brink of creating the very life we truly want and are meant to live. And I feel this conference will give me the tools, steps, inspiration, and community to make it happen. Wow. All right. So my question to you guys, are you on the brink of creating the life that you truly want and are meant to live? You got it. Head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. Reason number 5. Oh my gosh, this person gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons. They were originally numbered. I put them as A, B, C, D, and E. So A, I'm excited about the content that you, Cliff, have been talking about and developing based upon the intimate, real changes you have undergone yourself. I am particularly interested in going deeper into the concepts in the Big Leap and applying what I learned to break through barriers and ending patterns of self-sabotage. B, I need a booster shot to rediscover my ability to dream big dreams and pursue them. C, the speakers you have lined up are stellar individuals, many of whom I have met and or have been guests on my podcast. Those who I have not yet met, I am looking forward to meeting and forging new relationships. I'm looking forward to learning from them in a deep way. Your interviews leading up to the conference have invoked greater clarity for the conference and what I might learn and experience through a clear alignment with what you want to accomplish for all attendees. D, I am stoked to meet other individuals on similar journeys and build new relationships. The relationship factor was a key driver in purchasing the VIB ticket. I cannot believe there are still some left. What a tremendous opportunity to have greater access to you and the other speakers during the VIP lunches on Friday and Saturday and the VIP dinner on Friday night, plus a group session with you. Oh my gosh. All right. And then E, the real opportunity to be a potential asset/blessing to others in attendance. So my question to you guys based upon this, do you need a booster shot to rediscover your ability to dream big dreams and pursue them? You get it. Head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. Reason number 6. This person says, I respect Cliff's work and have several friends who are speaking at and attending the event. Number 7, to connect and meet people with the same drive and passion in this internet-based business world. The great speakers you have and just being around like-minded people, I can't wait. The 8th person responded here, love Cliff's message and I'm working on freeing my dream. My question to you guys, are you working on freeing your dream? head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. Reason number 9, I've got several friends and members of my mastermind group and a few clients that will be there. I am looking forward to the networking, but ultimately I'm looking forward to improving my mindset even more. That is critical to me. And so my question is improving your mindset crucial to you? If so, head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. All right, reason number 10, my decision to attend was based on several factors, and it's A, B, and C here. A, I have new and exciting things happening in my business life, not online, by the way, that I want to focus on, explore, and develop. B, I was impressed with Cliff when I took podcasting A to Z in 2014 and further inspired as I followed his health and life transformation. And C, rather than passively watch Cliff launch this exciting new venture, I decided to be proactive and become a stakeholder by participating and making it a success. So my question to you guys, do you have something exciting in your business life that you want to focus on, explore, and develop? Do you want to become a stakeholder in this? That's more about me than it is you. Seriously, do you have something exciting in your own business life that you want to focus on? And do you want to be a part of the ground floor of what I believe is going to be something radically huge? I had a friend of mine, I think it was Phil Zito. He says, Cliff, one of the things that I'm excited about is the fact that I get to tell people that I was at the very first Free the Dream conference before Cliff ever started selling out stadiums full of people. And it's like, I love that others are catching the same dream and the vision of what this thing is and stuff like that. But anyway, head over to freethedream.live. Reserve your seat today. Reason number 11. This is another person wrote, I was at lunch with my mastermind group and we all decided to attend as a group. So I have a question for you. Are you a part of a mastermind group? If so, go talk to your entire group and convince them all to come to Free the Dream with you so that you can have a shared experience that will help you all reach new levels of success faster than you ever dreamed possible. Yourself and everyone else in your group can go to freethedream.live and reserve your seats today. Reason number 12, because you sent a personal video message on how passionate you were about this event. That's why they signed up. So I have a question for you. Do you want me to send you a personal video invitation explaining how excited I am about you attending this event? If so, email me, cliff@cliffravenscraft.com, and say, Cliff, if you send me a personal video invitation, I will sign up for your event. I'll do that for you. I promise. Send me an email, cliff@cliffravenscraft.com. All right. Reason number 13. I know that I have a change coming up in my future that will include book writing, storytelling, and speaking. To do this, I need to expose myself to others who are already doing it and learn and apply. So my question for you, are you aware of a change coming up in your future? Do you need to expose yourself to those who are already doing what you want to do? If so, head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. Reason number 14, I first learned about you from Pat Flynn's podcast, and I explored the online business space and listened to various podcasts, etc. I found that you personified the lifestyle of an online business owner I would most like to emulate. Family, home, fitness, business, creative passion, and all being pursued and striving for the excellence in each area. I've always appreciated your honest and fully transparent approach to your audience. You never put on a phony visage to sell or market to your audience. When you promote your business, it's with true, honest intention to help your audience and connect with them. You have taken the time over the years to reach out to me personally several times, and I've always appreciated it. As a matter of fact, I still keep an email correspondence that we had in 2016 in my inbox. It reminds me that while my day job and other obligations have kept me from pursuing my passions to the degree I wish, the desire is still there. The theme of your conference resonates with me with that feeling every day. The collection of speakers that you've assembled inspires me. I loved every podcast interview, and I've listened to them. Let's see. I've listened to them with them. I'm sorry. That's my own copy and paste problems, I think. I've listened to them and can't wait to hear each of these speakers speak live. The vision you have for this conference sounds like a dream itself, and I'm anxious to be a part of the audience. So that was reason number 14. All of that was one person, and I know exactly who that is, and I am so appreciative of it. You know what really blesses my heart? To know that somebody out there has bookmarked an email correspondence that they had with me from 2 years ago, and they still revisit that on a consistent basis. Do you know how much that means to me? Wow. That when I read that, it made my day. So my question for you guys, has your day job and other obligations kept you from pursuing your passions? If so, head over to freethedream.live. We'll teach you what you need to know to start moving forward. Reason number 15, after being a part of the Next Level Mastermind, I wanted to continue to take every area of my life to the next level. This is only the second conference I've ever attended, since there are none of this kind in Germany that I know of. And by the way, I know who this is. This is Freya Casey, and she's coming all the way from Germany to Free the Dream. All right, number 16. This is reason number 16. First, I've been following you for years, and I have come to know, like, and trust you. Second, I'm in a transitional time. I can retire next July and fully intend to do so. While I get a retirement check every month that will be enough to live on, the amount won't last until I'm in my quote-unquote retirement years. It's also enough for a good life, but not an extraordinary life. I want to free the dream of being at least partially location independent in my retirement. While I think I'm going in the right direction, I need help with the next steps of the journey. So my question for you guys, are you looking for what's next after your retirement? If so, head over to freethedream.live. Reason number 17, to be inspired by your speeches and to surround myself with you, my mentor, and other like-minded people. Also, it has been my dream to visit the United States. He says, I got the VIP ticket after our one-on-one call, and I realized that I deserved the VIP ticket. And he actually told me in another conversation that he says, I'm worth the VIP ticket. And he says, I knew that if I invested in the VIP ticket, I could make the money for it, meaning that he could create an additional product or service and sell it. And he did, and he did. By the way, this is Ling Hasai, and Ling and Sai, he's coming all the way from Paris, France to Free the Dream, and this will be his very first time coming to Free the Dream. And I don't think that Ling will be upset that I share this with you, but this is an expensive venture for him, as you can imagine, as it is for Freya coming all the way from Germany. But coming all the way from Paris, France, is his first time visiting the U.S., so he's invested at a high level for the VIP ticket. He's investing a lot in travel. And to save some money, he researched the different various places that he could stay. And I noticed on social media, on Instagram, where he posted that, his reservation. It actually had a picture of his confirmation with, I think the confirmation number might have been blocked out. But anyway, I knew where he was planning on staying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Ling. And I love Ling. He was a part of the podcast mastermind for 2 years, several years ago. And I'm like, I don't want his first year or his first visit to the United States to be there. I'd like him to stay at a nicer place. And Stephanie and I had been given a very gracious offer from a very dear friend of ours to let us stay in her cottage. Beautiful, small 2-bedroom home and stuff like that. Now, the thing is that it's going to be myself and Stephanie, and we're bringing all 3 of our children. So Matthew and McKenna are coming, but Megan is actually driving down from Western Kentucky University that day as well. So it's going to be all 5 of us in this small, very small 2-bedroom cottage. We would have squeezed, but quite frankly, it was going to be a tight event or a tight space, and not to mention the fact that 1 bathroom, all 5 of us, all those kind of things, right? Well, turns out that another friend of mine who happens to be on a European tour with one of the world's most popular country celebrities in the world reached out and says, Cliff, I'm so sorry I'm not going to be able to make it to your event. I was really looking forward to it, but I just want to let you know, if anybody in your community is looking for it, I'm putting our entire home on Airbnb. And he gave me a link to the listing. And he says, I'd give your community priority for booking it. And I looked at it and I'm like, listen, I hope you don't mind, but I am not sharing this with my community. I said, because I've already gone in and booked your 3-bedroom house. So I booked his home, and I reached out to my friend who offered us her cottage. And I said, would you do me a huge favor and allow me to transfer your very gracious offer to a close personal friend of mine who's traveling all the way from France, who was planning to stay at the Best Western in Franklin, and I would much rather him not have that be his first experience. And she's like, oh yes, absolutely, Cliff, no problem at all. And so, yes, I love it. So he's coming all the way from France. Anyway, what number was that? That was number 17. So I'm going to only share 20 here. So we're on number 18. The next person says, I have long desired to escape being an employee, but have been scared to leave my fairly stable job of 17 years. But now, the company I worked for is closing its doors, and at the end of August, I don't want to get another job working for someone else. I've listened to your podcast for a couple years, and I was interested in your event, but this forced job transition pushed me over the edge in deciding to attend. So my question for you, have you long desired to escape being an employee? If so, head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. Reason number 19, I was working at a well-paying job for the last 15 years, but I did not like my job. I quit the job and moved out of state to be closer to my daughter and her husband. I am now at a new job that pays much less, and I really don't enjoy it either. I want to have a clear vision and direction for the next season of my life. It's time for a major change in my career. My question for you guys, are you in need of a clear vision and direction for the next season of your life? You got it. Head over to freethedream.live and reserve your seat today. And there are more than 20 people who are coming to Free the Dream. There'll be at least 100 people is what I'm expecting at Free the Dream. But I just wanted to share 20 reasons. And here's the last one that I chose at random. This person wrote, I've followed you since 2014 and have always been inspired by your content. I've listened to your journey and I think to myself, if Cliff can do it, so can I. By the way, that's so true. All right, he says, or she, I can't remember. I didn't actually put, I wanted these to be anonymous as possible because I didn't seek anyone's permission to share these, but none of these tie back to any one person. So continuing on. So they said, if Cliff can do it, so can I. But starting an online business seems so difficult, and honestly, I don't always know what to do next, and I often doubt myself. I want to learn to believe in myself and actually execute from a master is what I'm after. So actually, this is what it says. It says, learning to believe in myself and actually execute from a master is what I'm after. So let me ask you this. Do you want to discover how to defeat self-doubt? And do you want to actually learn how to execute your dreams, your plans, your mission, your dreams? Do you want to be able to execute on plans that will move you forward? To believe in yourself? Do you want to learn how to do that from a master? It sounds weird, but I do consider myself to be a master. I have I have mastered this philosophy of believing in your dream, a 10-step process of how to achieve it, how to control your emotional state, how to change radically about what you believe about who you are, and how that will change every action and decision you make in your life. Guys, I can't begin to tell you just how much this event would radically transform your life if you were to attend it. Don't delay. There are only 2 weeks left. Go to freethedream.live and come hang out with me and a group of about 100 or so amazing people whose lives are going to be radically different 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now. Come be a part of something that is just getting started. Come to Free the Dream. I look forward to seeing you in Franklin, Tennessee. freethedream.live. Reserve your seat today.